yesterday, Jay and I sat down and did a comparison between the PS Audio Stellar DAC Gain Cell Preamp with the S300 PS Audio amplifier versus a Hegel Rost integrated amplifier. So originally what we wanted to do was compare the Hegel H190 with the PS Audio stack. And the reason for that is because price-wise in Canada, they're very, very close. PS Audio stack is about...
$4,750 around?
4,700, 4,698, and the Hegel would be about 4,500, so very close. Unfortunately, we sold out of our H190s, and so the only thing we had close enough in that price range was the Hegel Rost, which is about $3,500. So we thought, what the heck, let's compare it. Going into the comparison, I have to admit my bias was that the Hegel would sound better, at least to my taste, because for the last couple of months, we'd been selling a lot of Hegels. We've been using it in all of our demos in that price range, so much so that the PS Audio was almost forgotten. And then when the idea came up that we should do a comparison and see what happens, I thought, wow, Paul's going to be pissed, Paul McGowan. And
can you imagine him pissed?
Right. But I also thought, knowing that Paul and his team would not put out a bad product, I was confident that the slaughter, quote unquote, wouldn't be that bad. But we were also determined that we would speak our mind and let the chips fall where they may. So a note to this, that biases are inherent in most, if not all of us, and that it's a good idea to keep an open mind. And I, ironically enough, always remind myself to keep an open mind. So anyway, Jay set up the system. We used a pair of Magnum-Pen 1.7i planar speakers in a room that's roughly 10 by 12 by 20 foot ceiling. So on the surface of it, not a big room. The PS Audio power amplifier is rated for about 300 watts into 4 ohms. The Hegel is only about, 60 or 70 watts. So, but because we weren't playing it loud, huge volumes, it wouldn't matter. What was fascinating was that upon comparison, I was pleasantly stunned to hear that not only were they, for my mind, comparable, they were quite different, so that I could easily see different people liking either of them. It was definitely not the blowout that I was afraid it would be. The Hegel has very dark backgrounds. Music just emanates from this black background where you could instantly pick where instruments were. It was almost as if, imagine on stage, everything is black and then you had spotlights, just literally focused spotlights on individual instruments or vocalists. And that's what it sounded to me like. Whereas the PS Audio was as if the entire stage was lit. You could see, you could hear everything. It was continuous. I hate the word organic, but that's what it sounded like to me. And in many ways, I actually liked that better. I liked the fact that when I was listening to vocalists, the sound was more intimate. I liked the fact that it brought the music into the room. I could hear, first name that comes to mind, Diana Krall, which not exactly my favorite, but she's right there in the room singing just for me, which is fantastic. If you like, for example, Billie Holiday, she's going to be right there in your room. The Hegel was definitely, for me, more laid back. So the vocalist was behind the speakers. If you have a small room and you wanted to have the sensation that the room was bigger than it really is, that might be a better choice for you. So I'm glad to say that both are fantastic, and that kudos to PS Audio and their team. Kudos to Hegel for producing wonderful products, different perspectives. I stand corrected and humbled by the fact that I went into this comparison with the biases that I had. Jay, what did you think?
So we were using the Lumen T2 streamer, and in the beginning I made a mistake of using the DAC inside the Lumen. And with the DAC inside the Lumen hooked up to the PS Audio and the Hegel, they were almost like very, very close. And so close that I could not really determine, which I really preferred. And I was mind blown because I also had the bias of Hegel being a superior product, just because, this past few weeks,
So just to clarify, we were using the Lumen's internal DAC, analog out into the PS Audio stack, and then switched over again, analog out from the Lumen into the Hegel. So we were bypassing the DACs of both the PS Audio and the...
No, I fixed that problem when you listened to it.
No, but initially...
Initially, that was it. And I realized I made that mistake and switched it back and to digital output. And this way, we were using the DAC inside both units instead of the one inside the Lumen. And now I could hear a definite difference. Now, this difference wasn't, to me, it wasn't as huge. I found, the tonality and the musicality of both amplifiers to be hand in hand. But what I did find is that, like you mentioned, the biggest difference I found was the soundstage, the space within the music. So like blacker notes, the space between notes, as well as the fact that Hegel had a better, I wouldn't say better, but voices behind the speakers, like you mentioned. So I really, really like that because it's more of a kickback sound. You don't have, it's not so much like, hey, look at me kind of sound, which is not to my preference. I like to listen to music kind of like more relaxed, like jazz, and then rock sometimes. But I also don't want to like have rock. If you hear some of the rock recordings, they're not so graciously recorded. So you don't want too much forwardness there. So with music that I listen to, I personally prefer the Hegel a little bit more. But the PS Audio definitely had its standing when it came to intimacy, because when I was playing certain recordings like vocal recordings from like Agnes Obel or Diana Krall or all those recordings, I found especially female vocals and male vocals to be much more intimate and more engaging than the Hegel. So it really depends on what you listen to most of the time. And Hegel is just a really good compromise between, a really intimate versus a really, wide soundstage, like a horn system kind of thing. Really in between. So for me, it's like a sweet spot. But for some people, they may prefer the PS Audio.
So this is something that we didn't discuss that we were going to do, and I'm going to spring it on Jay now. I didn't get a chance to do this comparison, but he did. So after we compared the PS Audio and Hegel, young Jay here decided to hook up the Parasound Compact the classic 200. So this is an integrated amplifier that sells in Canada for
it sells for $1,750 in Canada. It is rated at 110 watts into 8 ohms and 4 ohms. I recently reviewed it, and people have been asking me, can it drive the Magnepans? So I definitely had to hook it up to the 1.7i's. And to tell you the truth, I didn't expect it to even make proper sound, to tell you the truth, because 110 watts, I've told people horror stories of how I had 200 watts, 300 watts amplifiers that didn't run the Magnepans properly and such. So I didn't really expect much. Let's just put it at that. When I hooked it up, I was pleasantly surprised at about 1/3 the price of what we were testing with the Hegel and the PS Audio. I was pleasantly surprised, especially because the Parasound Classic 200 has so much function. It has a subwoofer out, it has MM and MC phono stage, tone control, left and right balance, a beautiful remote with all the functionalities. It's a really I have one at home. It's beautiful, love it, and on top of that, it drives the Magnepans. So,
So how did it compare?
There is really no comparison when it comes to sound. Hegel and PS Audio mentioned, like Philip always mentions, you get what you pay for, right? You get what you pay for. That's Philip. So it's a very affordable product with very good functionality, and still drives the Magnepans. And that's the amazing part with sound. You're gonna get a little bit of a topple on the top end. You're not gonna get as much of a high frequency extension or openness or airiness in a sense. To my ears, the vocals and the bass sounded pretty darn good, but a little bit dry, a little bit lifeless compared to the Hegel and PS Audio. But certainly to the untrained ear or to someone just starting out, it's just one compact device that can really do I wouldn't say full justice, but partial justice to Magnepan speakers.
In a future video, what we'll do is compare the Parasound to the Hegel 90, where the pricing is much closer. So the Hegel 90 is about 2,200 Canadian.
Yeah.
So 2,200 versus, what is it, 1,700?
1750.
1750. So they'll be much closer. So this way, we'll be able to give you our impressions of the two.
Okay, we're rolling. Hello, everybody. This is Jay and Philip from Audio Excellence without Adrian. So,
Yay!
Yay, party time. Okay, I wanted to get Philip's opinion as well. So here we are. So, what was your impression?
They're different.
Okay, how? How are they different, Philip? Tell the audience.
Tell the audience.
Tell the audience.
That's if you trust me. So what is particularly noticeable between the two setups is that...
Hold on a little bit here. Let me just pull this down a little bit.
All right. Don't cover my face.
Yeah, you're sitting a little bit back here, so go ahead.
Well, I like to lean back. So,
all right, go ahead.
They're both extremely good. The PS Audio setup is a little bit more kind of immediate.
Yeah.
A little bit more in, not so much, it's not aggressive or in your face, but it's more frontal.
Yeah.
It's a little bit closer to you.
Hegel is there and
Hegel kind of presents this deep black pool.
Yeah.
And
ooh, that's a good reference.
That's a good reference, right?
Yeah.
But the PS Audio is like a little bit more immediate in a way that is somewhat a bit more energetic.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
So that's the kind of major thing. That the balance is different. They're both very good, but if you like something that's a little bit more forward, a little bit more immediate, the PS Audio is like that. It tends to have a bit more kind of a warm bass. That's just a slightly warmer bass. But the Hegel just has this ability to draw you into the music, which is another way we like to look at it, because there's this incredible black there, and then all the elements are popping out of it in a way that all seems connected. The PS Audio is a little bit less that way, but at the same time, there's lots of detail. A little bit more detail, I think, than the Hegel. So those are the two kind of main differences, without having to go into any of the technical reasons why. Yeah,
I definitely agree. All right.
So
that was his impression. You can find Adrian and my impression in the previous video, and all of our discussion in the video that's coming after this video. So thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe and click that bell button. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Philip's
Team Canada, baby.
Whatever that is here, jersey. So thank you very much. This was Audio Excellence.